This week in national news, it was another big week in college football, which led to there being a new #1 team in the AP poll. And that new team is the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The reason why the Bulldogs are #1 is because they have 3 big wins against LSU, Texas A&M, and this week they beat Auburn. These wins were all versus top 10 teams at the time of the game. They have been led by quarterback Dak Prescott, who is having a Heisman-type season with him throwing for 14 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. And he also has rushed for 8 touchdowns to go along with that. Other teams in the top 10 are Florida State, Ole Miss, Baylor, and Notre Dame rounding out the top 5. The divisional series are going on now in Major League Baseball. In the American League, the surprise team keeps on surprising people, and the Kansas City Royals have a 2-0 lead over the Baltimore Orioles. The Royals have done this by winning games in the 10th inning for the first win, and the second game they won in the 9th inning. In the National League series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants is tied at 1 game apiece. The Giants took Game 1 because of an impressive showing by Madison Bumgarner, who had 7 Ks in 7 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball. Game 2 was won by the Cardinals with a walk-off home run by Colton Wong. Bad news out of that game is Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina strained his oblique. No word on the amount of time that he will miss. In the NBA, there's some bad news coming out of Oklahoma City, and that is Kevin Durant will miss the first month of the season after suffering a Jones fracture in his foot. A Jones fracture is a broken bone at the base of the small toe. In regional news, fans were graced with some good things to start the week in sports, but all good things must come to an end.
The Penguins traveled to Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs at the Air Canada Centre on Saturday. Things went the Penguins' way as they took the 5-2 victory over Toronto. The line of Sidney Crosby, Chris Kunitz, and Patrick Hornqvist played well as Crosby had 1 goal and 2 assists, Kunitz had 1 goal, and Hornqvist had 1 goal and assist. The Pens kept a 3-0 lead until the Leafs' Joffrey Lupul scored a goal in the second. The Pens did come back with Malkin scoring a power play goal to put the Pens back up by 3. The 2-0 Pens will return home this week to take on the Dallas Stars. The Steelers have forced themselves in a rough situation after their trip to Cleveland. The Browns smashed the Steelers by a score of 31-10. In the first quarter, Sean Sweezum kicked a 20-yard field goal to put the Steelers up 3-0. Lance Moore caught his first touchdown as a Steeler, but outside of that, it was a debacle by the Steelers. The Browns quarterback Brian Hoyer was just 8 of 17, but had 217 yards and a touchdown. The 3-3 Steelers are sitting in last place in the division. They play Houston on Monday Night Football this week.
After our final break, find out who our Case of the Week crew thinks is the top team in the college football polls.